So I've been meaning to try different engines and different techs for Branded in this meta, and you know what, I eventually just said, fuck it, why don't we just run all the techs for it? So yeah, this is I'm back to testing a 60 card Branded build, and the primary reason that sparked this was because I wanted to fit back the Edgem chain engine for reasons I will go over later. But first of all, the disclaimer, I'm not gonna say this is an optimal way to play Branded Despia. I'm not at all. In fact, this is more of an experimental list where, as I mentioned, I'm literally doing this just to test every single engine available to this deck and see which ones work better than others, and how if there are interactions between different engines that I would have missed if I tried to fit in 40. Because everyone knows that since the introduction of all the new support, it's basically impossible to fit in the Edgem chain engine and keep the deck anywhere close to 40. So if I were to want to test this, really, I would have to. I figured that the simplest way would be to just run 60 and then worry about fine-tuning the edges later. So I'm not. Again, a lot of this stuff is the standard. So standard Branded cards, I don't want to go into too in depth. You know, I'm sure I have multiple videos discussing like in-depth Branded tech choices and how to use them, such as Branded High Spirits and Fusion Deployment and Branded Reds and the interactions with kits and Cartasia. You can watch my other Branded videos on how those work. I just want to go over what's new about this certain build. And to start with, I guess we need to talk about the philosophy behind playing a 60 card deck. So a lot of people think that in order to run a 60 card deck, you have to run a bunch of cards that you want to be milled with that grass looks greener. And to that end, you might even just say take a 40 card deck and just add 18 cards that they would prefer to be milled. I'm not a fan. Well, I personally disagree with that philosophy in deck building, because if you just run the math, right, Backgrass is greener as a 2 of, you only have about a 16 to 19% chance to open it, given when you're going first or second. So you're playing over 80% of your games where you're just not going to see grass. And I'm not going to run cards that really only work or work good with grass but are kind of not good by themselves, because that means 80% of the time I'm going to be running cards that I don't want in my deck for just to have like 20% of the time high rolling off the grass. Instead, if you see a build like this, I'm playing the additional cards I added beyond 40 are not specifically for the sole purpose of being milled off grass. They're actually playable engine cards, and such as additional copies of Tragedy. I've been running Allure. I'm running max copies of all the Branded Bystials. These are cards that I would be running anyways, regardless of if I played grass or not. Just because adding more engine into a deck like this increases the variety of plays I have, increases the. You may think that it might decrease the consistency of drawing Branded Fusion, but the consistency loss is not even that bad, if at all, because the additional engine cards are more ways that help you get started playing the game too, such as ways to dump Tragedy in the grave or banish it. And now with polys and max copies of High Spirits and Deployment, you have extra extenders to be able to play through hand traps and all that stuff. And with that, grass is a nice bonus. When you draw it, you can activate it. It's not crazy, but you're gonna get a +2 or +3 every time you activate grass, probably by milling a Tragedy to search Alibur, plus Adlib, and then dumping a bunch of Brand spell traps in the grave, plus a Sarnier, which will dump the Retribution, which lets you add anything you milled back. And then you have Fallen of Albaz in the grave too, which further make your Brand spell trap like Brand in Red live, and allow you to use the Rinbrim's grave effect to revive Albaz during your opponent's turn. Right, you're not like milling 8 to 10 triggers per grass, but you don't need to. Just getting that much value off of grass, which is more value than basically any single card in this deck besides Branded Fusion itself, it's good enough, and you are not running a bunch of bricks or cards that you don't want to draw when you don't see grass. Essentially, I want to play a deck where even if grass as a card either does not exist or is just banned, that this deck will still be completely functional. And in fact, if we didn't have grass in Master Duel, I would still be playing a 60 card deck like this, and I would just replace the grass with 2 more engine pieces. And another question I think people will ask about this build is why I'm not running the tier cards and why I'm not playing Branded Tier at 60 cards, because doesn't that take advantage of grass better theoretically? Theoretically it does, however, I'm of the opinion that any 60 card tier variant is just going to be a diluted and worse version of a 40 card tier variant. Because the best cards in any tier deck are the tier cards, and what is the main weakness of Tearlaments in Master Duel? It's the lack of names and the inconsistency of mills, and sometimes you don't mill all you want, right? So why would I play a 60 card variant of tier that just has worse mills 80% of the time, the 80% of the time when you don't open grass, and just it's gonna you hit the Shizu cards less, you hit your tier names less often, and not to mention you're playing a variant that also fusion locks you when one of the perks of playing Tearlaments is not being fusion locked, right? And also good luck fitting. I haven't tried, but like good luck fitting all you want into a 15 card extra deck when both tier and brand extra decks are tight enough as is. So yeah, that's why my personal reason for not playing Branded Tier, I feel like you should just be playing a pure version of either deck instead of just trying to combine it together and then diluting it with playing a worse tier deck, in my opinion. And next, I guess I can finally explain why I wanted to put the Edgem Chain package back with the Patchworks. So it initially started with this deck. After I removed this, it felt a bit weaker going second, because one of the perks of Brand Despia in the past was that its engine was so powerful that you can play into boards if you just open engine cards, and playing Edgem Chain in the Patchwork package was a large part of that, because it gave you just an extra bomb of a play into something like Chimera into an established board that has targeting protection, so they can't use stuff like Imperm, and you also chain block it, so they can't. It's really hard to negate as well. And then you combine that with board breaker cards like Super Poly and not shown here, but Forbidden Droplets. If you combine an Edgem Chain with either of those, you can break the board. You can target things in your board that you want to negate or want to remove with Super Poly, discard the Edgem Chain, which then will get you your Patchwork for Poly, and then you can Chimera over the top, and that can clear so many stuff, regardless of the meta. And that was a aspect of the deck that I was missing. Felt like my engine could just not play into boards very well in this format, and a large portion of that was due to lacking the secondary push and extension that the Patchwork package provides. So that was the initial reason at first, and obviously there's extra benefits and interactions now with the new cards that I'm running that we have with Edgem Chain that we didn't have before. First off, Allure comes back, because now with Edgem Chain and then with the justification for running Triple Tragedy now, especially since with Grass Legal, Allure becomes a power card now, and not only it's Pot of Greed on crack, and you don't have to worry about banishing stuff you don't want anymore, and in fact with extra Mercurials now, that's even better Allure banishes. And then there's niche interactions that only came up when I put back the Frightfur package back in. One thing is Cartasia with Edge of Chain is kind of funny, where you can fuse into a Grand Guignol to get the Edge of Chain out of your hand, and then the Edge of Chain will search you for Patchwork. And by the way, like with all these new cards you run, like Fusion Deployment, Cartasia, and Brand High Spirits, Edge of Chain is basically never dead in your hand anymore. It's never a dead draw. And funnily enough, Branded and High Spirits, Edge of Chain is now a Brand and High Spirits target, because Despia and Caritas, or Masquerade if you run that, is a extra deck, level 8 extra deck monster of 2500 attack or defense. So even if all you have is Edge of Chain and High Spirits, you can Brand and High Spirits, discard the Edge of Chain, get your Spriggan's Kit, which will get you your engine going, and then the Edge of Chain will get you your Patchwork, which then you can use to add Poly, and then you can even put back the free Edge of Chain you added back with Kit to get a free start. So it's like it's like an alley bird. It's like just as good as opening Brand High Spirits and like Sarnier, or like Cartasia Sarnier. It's just another way to before the chain would be a brick, it's now full combo. And also with the addition of polys, and because we're running High Spirits and we're running multiple Mercurier, there are high roll hands where you can hard make Albaz fusions with your extra copies of fusion spells like Polymerization or Brand and Red without using Branded Fusion. If you say how you hard draw a Fallen of Albaz. And then now that you control an Albaz fusion on the field without expanding Branded Fusion, and you have a Tribegan Mercurier in hand, now you have a negate for the Ash before you activate the Branded Fusion to keep going. There's a couple more things I need explaining is 2 Branded Red. I'm running 1 Branded Red over the Branded White, since you can, a lot of the time you will use Branded Red in your turn 1 combo, and then it's nice to have a second Branded Red to set as disruption on your opponent's turn. And the evenly match, I really want to run droplets for the aforementioned synergy with Edge and Chain, but I can't justify running both droplets and Super Poly when Tier is still one of, if not the best deck in the meta, and one of the most played decks you're gonna face, because both droplets and Super Poly are just both mediocre against Tier, and I don't want to. If those are my only non-engine cards to help me going second, then like I don't want them to all be bad against Tier, you know. And for the extra deck, I'm sure if you're new to my videos, single Mirror Jade might look kind of off. I'm not saying this is correct or anything, but I've been testing single Mirror Jade because out of all the things in the extra deck, which is really tight, the second Mirror Jade comes up less often than everything else in here. Yes, even Verte. Check out the Brand High Spirits combo video for why Verte is cracked in this build. Same for Sprint. And same for Despia and Caritas. So that's enough talking about just the deck list here. Let me show you some test hands involving new cards with the deck. Or the new cards that I added. Alright, this is an example test hand I wanted to show. Get ready, hand is about to get wacky. So you can start off with Patchwork. Just get that out of the way early. Okay, get Poly, get Edge and Chain. Gold Sark. Banish Mercurier. Oh, wait for the animation. Master Duel. We're gonna banish Mercurier. Okay, there it is. Mercurier is gonna add us a Fallen of Albaz to hand. Now Branded High Spirits is gonna ditch this Fallen of Albaz, sending Albion, allowing us to add Spriggan's Kit to our hand. Special kits. Kit add us Branded in Red. Yes, you heard that right, Branded in Red. Put back this evenly matched we're not going to be able to use anytime soon. Normal summon Edge and Chain. Make Verte. Edge Chain is going to trigger, getting us another Patchwork for follow up on the next turn. Activate Verte, dumping Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Red. Target Albaz. Now we'll make Mirror Jade with Verte and Albaz. And make a Rinbrum. I'll dump the second kit and Albaz. We have our banishment already, so we can set this banishment. Toggle on, go into end phase, activate Mirror Jade's effect. Sending Brigand. Use Rinbrum to negate the Mirror Jade. So that way it's live next turn. Activate Brigand. Get Tri-Beam Carrier, and this is their only point to Ash us. And if they didn't Ash us then we can protect this search with Tri-Beam Carrier, but we can use it and we can set Brand Red or Brand Retribution, both are live. And that's a line where Patchwork, Goldsark, and the Branded High Spirits. That's the very familiar Branded High Spirits line, where you completely avoid playing into Ash by activating Branded Fusion through Verte, which they cannot Ash. So yeah, that's just and the thing about the Edgem chain is, well, we have a Poly and Patchwork for next turn, so you know they do something to this board. They're gonna get Chimera in the face on the clapback. If not Chimera by the Branded Red, if not banishment targeted if they'd remove either of these fusions. But yeah, that's one test hand. See if we can do another. Okay, so now we drew Allure, and we drew both Allure targets. That's fantastic. Well, let's see what this gets us. That's interesting. Do I want to banish the Tragedy, or do I want to banish the Mercurier to get the Albaz? So you already have the Branded Red. Let's banish the Mercurier, actually. Yeah, banish the Mercurier. Mercurier will add us. I'm gonna add Fallen of Albaz. I know it might look weird. Why are you adding Fallen of Albaz? You'll see. Frightfur, Patchwork, add Poly, add Edge and Chain, because we hard open the Branded Lost. You can activate Branded Lost right now. Activate Poly, discarding. We're gonna use Tragedy, so let's Lubellion with Tragedy and Albaz. Lubellion, Chainlink 1, discard Edgem Chain, Tragedy, Chainlink 2, and Branded Lost, Chainlink 3. So you see with this setup, what do I want? So let's add Cartasia. Let's just go all the way. Despia and Tragedy will get us Albaz. And then we'll make a Mirror Jade with Lubellion and the Albaz. And now you see where I'm going with this, right? Because now we control an Albaz fusion on the field. And we have yet to commit to a Branded Fusion. So let's normal summon the Albaz. Albaz, add Branded Fusion. This is insane. Bro, if you had Ash, it literally does nothing because I have a Tri-Blade Mercurier in hand to negate the Ash. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's keep going. What do we want? I feel like we just go for a Rinbrum line right now. Dump Kit and Albaz. Now that we have an Albaz engraved, we get the special summon Cartasia. And Grangunyol with the Alibur. Jesus Christ. And Dust Dragon, let's dump ad libitum for a Branded Red target. Speaking of Branded Red, set Branded Banishment end phase. Activate Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade, dump Albion, negate with Rinbrum so it's live next turn. Don't return. And now we get the trigger Albion to set Branded Red with an ad libitum engrave. And add the Cartasia back to her hand. Jesus, this was the most crack hand I've ever seen in my life. We literally... Oh my god, we made an Albaz fusion before activating Branded Fusion with a Mercurial in hand, activate Branded Fusion with Mercurial protection, and then we still have Rinbrum, and we have Branded Red with the ad libitum engraved. Even if they evenly us, we get like, we have 4 interruptions through an evenly matched. Like, and we have Banishment live, and we still have the Mercurial in hand, they didn't have the Ash, and we have all this fault. Jesus Christ. Okay, that ain't an example of what this deck is capable of. I mean, yeah, and that was all made possible with being able to hard make Mirror Jade with Poly in hand, and we get to search the Albaz with the Mercurial that we banished off the lure. Well, yeah, just all the new cards I added in the deck come into play. Alright, let's see if we can get one more. Alright, so as you can tell, the plays where you have Patchwork access are wild, and I honestly had no idea where any of them led to. But I mean, that's what makes that's the fun. Is like now we have even more non-linear plays with the introduction of the Edgem package back to the deck. So I mean, we only have one search target for the now, so let's do that right away. It's Patchwork, Poly, and Edgem Chain. Let's see where this Allure takes us. Now we have a free Allure Father as well. Right. Yeah. That's seems pretty good. seems pretty good. Okay, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. We ball, bro. Let's activate this grass. Trigger both Tragedy and Sarnir. Sarnir can dump. What do we want to add back from the grave with Retribution for free? Absolutely nothing. We have everything we need. Jesus Christ. Add Alibur. Let's see. Normal summon Alibur. Get that Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion for Rinbrum. We already milled a Mercurial off that grass. Nice. That's another reason for double kit is that if you already go through a Mercurial, you can just dump a kit to make the Rinbrum anyways, then it's fine. Sarnir, banish that. Mercurial. I don't even care that we milled Cartasia. And Mercurial add kit. Special Lubellion off Sarnir. I mean, what do I need at this point? Like what do I honestly need at this point? So Branded Lost. And go Retribution we can use, or we can use the kit. We can actually dump the kit, the beast, to search an Albaz, but I mean that's not necessary. Some Retribution for the Branded Redback. Activate Springin's kit. Special summon the kit. Oh man. Add back. Let's add back the Retribution to hand. So we can use it as a Solemn Warning. And then next turn. Like geez. Activate Branded in red. Get back to Albaz. Let's go for the Bellion. The kit and Albaz. The Lubellion. 1 and 2. I don't need this Poly anymore. Branded lost. Add that Mercurier. Let's make that Mirror Jade. We have absolutely everything. I don't. Oh yeah, let's Foolish Burial for. Foolish Burial for that Ad Libitum. Why not, as a brand red target? Do I even need to send something from... Oh yeah, I do. So, end phase set. Activate Mirror Jade. Dump Albion. Negates. Why don't we add this Rebellion back to our hand? Activate Albion, set Branded in red from the deck. Cartasia. Add High Spirits. Alright, what the hell did we end on? Okay, Mirror Jade, Rinbrum, Branded in red, Mercurier, Branded Retribution, Retribution follow-up, Cartasia follow-up, High Spirit follow-up, yeah. Alright, awesome. Resolving Grass to mill 20, I sleep. Using Grass to bait Ash so I can resolve Branded Fusion. Real shit. By the way, if some people know you're playing this deck, it's actually better to Ash Branded Fusion than Grass. Branded Fusion is way better than Grass, but people won't know that, so they'll just use their Ash on Grass and then their ass is Grass. Sorry, I apologize for that. Please be sure to check out my other Branded videos if you're confused on some card explanations and combo, and for more combo lines with these cards right here. And if you have any more questions, you obviously feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer all of them.